Good morning everyone, welcome along to Radio Hub and Somer Valley Education Trust. Community Radio now and next, just a few house rules. We're not expecting the fire alarm to go off, but if it does, we've got some exits at the back there where the toilets are, and also to the left here, and there is also a very special lift if you need a lift, which will work in an emergency, we're told. So hopefully we won't need any of that, and all behind Ian Hickling, and we have a bundle out in the car park downstairs. So that's where we are. Welcome along. Radio Hub has done many events. In fact, 10 years of Somer Valley. This is our 10th event that we've done in just over 2 years. So we've been all over the place, from Kent to Essex to London to Cambridge, up north to Sheffield twice, down here today, which is great. So it's great to see some new faces and some old faces as well. Who don't matter where we put any events on, they always turn up. They know they are. So welcome along, and we've got a great day ahead. Before the opening of today's conference, just take you through this, we've got some great presentations for some great practitioners in the industry. Dave from Sedgemore FM, the station, I had a look downstairs at the studios downstairs, and a great little community station, and that's where we are today. And we always try and do an event near a station, because we're all radio-minded, we love all that. We've got Pippa from Wickham Sound joining us a little bit later on at one of the panels. David Harbour from a new station at Andover. Had some great reports on the new station launch, fantastic.
I wrote them.
You wrote them, did you? And of course Dom, we know Dom, involved in that as well. A great sponsor who I met up the north at Milton Mowbray, from J.L. Morris, here today as well, and we'll be getting them up later to give you an insight into their work. Nice lunch laid on for you a little bit later. Anyone that's been to a hub meeting will know that we always give a nice lunch. We've got Martin here from the Community Radio Awards, and for all those who have entered before, you know how good event that is, and it showcases, but we do need more people to apply, so he'll be giving a presentation on that. The Community Radio Fund is open now at the moment for another few weeks, and we've got Richard Hilton, who's on the fund panel. We'll be giving a chat about that a little bit later. A little break for a cup of tea later on as well. How should community radio progress in the UK? And there was a little bit of networking to finish the day off. And then down here, I've got here, finish and pub. So, I don't know who wrote that, but anyway, that's how it is. We are hashtagging today. It's hashtag CR Now Next. That's hashtag CR Now Next. And also we've got at the Dom Chambers, at Radio Hub, at Sedgemore FM. Okay, so if you can hashtag, that'd be great. And we are now going to have the official opening this morning. Very proud and privileged actually to have Denis, the High Sheriff of Somerset here. So give him a nice warm welcome.
Good, thank you very much indeed. I've never opened a community public radio gathering before, and it's wonderful to do so. I imagine there's very few of you who know what on earth a High Sheriff is. It's one of the well-kept secrets. It's quite strange because it's the second oldest, after the monarchy, it's the oldest office in the country. It dates back to the year 957, so it's about 1100 years old. It used to be responsible for law and order in the county on behalf of the monarch, and also for the gathering of tax revenues. And since those early days, they've come up with judges and police and Her Majesty's Revenue and Customs, and the poor old High Sheriff has got very little to do with that anymore. But we do still have some wonderful clothes to wear. If I'd come in my full regalia, I'd have shoes with silver buckles and men in tights breeches and 3 layers of black velvet and a sword and a hat and all the rest of it. And I was thinking of doing that until I thought, it's radio, isn't it? So I've come in civvies, I'm sorry. But it's great to be here, and because what the role has now become really is one about trying to do what we can to encourage, to enable, to recognise effort that goes into producing communities that are safe and strong. And of course that plays so well into what community radio does. You recognise people, you encourage, you enable, and shape in many ways the health of the communities in which you operate. I've become only recently a really strong convert to community radio. It hasn't been terribly much on my radar, I'm afraid to say, but over these last few months and since becoming High Sheriff, I've got to understand it much better. And I'm particularly struck not only with what you do of a general nature in helping communities, but also what you do and can do in terms of helping young people, particularly young people who are from maybe some of the disadvantaged corners of your community and whose life chances have been somewhat reduced by whatever circumstances from home pressures and challenges or many other ways. And what radio, community radio, can do for those young people, I think is quite extraordinary. And I know Don, who's somewhat enabled me to see the light on this, is already doing it this way, and what I think maybe coming up with some of your discussions later on today, I would really applaud the way in which just employability and skills and general confidence can be built into young people who might otherwise, life prospects, be really quite poor, is quite staggering. So I applaud what you do of a general nature, and I'm particularly excited with what you can do for young people. I get involved in Bristol, where I've chaired for about 10 or 15 years, a charity called South Bristol Youth. South Bristol is a very disadvantaged corner, unfortunately, of Bristol. So what people can do for disadvantaged young people has been very much on my radar. And I'm now trying to pick that initiative off and get it landed into Crescent-super-Mare and into Bridgewater. And if that pilot goes well, I'm hoping my successors as High Sheriffs will not only help to do the funding that will enable that to continue, but also then take it to other corners of the county and other towns. And just such a thing, I would hope, might be possible within your own communities. So I would encourage you, if you haven't, to introduce yourself to the High Sheriffs in your area, get them to come and see what you do, because all of them are there to try and do what they can to develop strong communities. And they will all be interested in what you can do for young people, and they have wonderful networks for fundraising. And you would also be a mouthpiece for them to try and talk about the initiatives that they're wishing to get behind. So I do encourage you to just write to them, invite them to come and see what you're doing, tell them some of your thoughts and plans, talk about communities, talk about young people, and in many cases you will find them as allies and able to unlock doors for new funding. There we go, but I don't know an awful lot about it. I wish I could stay longer, but sadly I've got to get myself to Cambridge for later in the day, so I can't stay for very long. I'll stay for a little bit, and then I will disappear, which is a shame, because I'd love to have brought out and chatted with many of you. But the formal part of what I'm doing is to declare this open, which I shall do in a second, but before I do that, I want to do the thanks first. I know someone at the end of today is going to do the thanks, but these things don't happen just by magic. You know, there are some people here, unknown to me, although I have a suspicion of some of them, who will have put an awful lot of time and effort into making sure you have a good day today. And I'm sure you'll remember to thank them justly at the end. But I will end with officially opening your conference and wishing you a very, very successful day. Thank you.